What's up, guys? Dr. Mo here, digital nomad physician at digitalnomadphysician.com. I was supposed to remember prescribing freedom in something. I try to look up some ways to come up with like a byline of what digital nomad physician is all about. I forgot it. So there we go. Uh, anyway, this video is going to be about shopping for marketing, figuring out your marketing strategy, getting patients into your practice. Now, for those of you who have a physical practice, it's a little bit different. But for those of you who have a virtual first or virtual only practice, the marketing has to be a little bit more intentional. So I've talked about it already. I've created some videos and blog posts. So you have an idea, hopefully, if you're following my stuff, that the marketing strategy for a virtual practice has to include a heavy dose of making yourself be trustworthy. The trust factor, which you don't get when you have a physical practice. People are accustomed to having a physical practice. It's a clinic, it's a location. I can go there, I see it, I drove by it 15 times. That has already built. I've seen people walk in and out of it. I go on Google reviews and I see that there are reviews of it. And I maybe even saw the doctor coming outside, or I saw the face of the doctor on some of their pamphlets. So we don't get that. We don't get that in a virtual practice, in a virtual first practice, in a virtual medical practice. You sort of have to build that trust. One of the best ways to build that trust is with digital content, social media content. Some of it is with articles that you write online that are discoverable. That's going to be hard to do, especially when you're competing with, I don't know, all these different websites that put out really crappy, very well, and all this stuff that put out, to me, crappy clinical content. Nevertheless, that's just me being bitter, probably. If I want to create content, if I want to compete with one of those guys, my content has to really stand out. It has to be super, super good. And that's hard to achieve. The way I can compete with them is by getting a following of people on a social media platform. And usually you can have pretty good success if you present yourself well, if your content is creative, interesting, not clickbaity, because then again, you lose the trust. And it's very easy to make super, super great clickbaity stuff, and you'll get a lot of followers, but maybe a lot of those people may not convert to become your patients. After all, remember, you're trying to build a practice. So over the past few months, I've been interviewing with different types of marketing companies, marketing firms. There's a lot of them out there. And some, fortunately, only specialize in medical practices, physician practices, which is really good. There's a few things that makes a marketing firm that focuses on physicians, that sets them apart. And this is important for you guys to know. When it comes to advertising, when it comes to creating clinical content, medical content, online content that is also advertisement, you have to be careful. There is some medical legal stuff. It's not a lot, but it is important. Certain claims that you make can come and bite you in the ass later because something happens with the patient or the patient's upset. They can say, hey, look, this is what the physician claimed. Also, when you build a website, it is important that it is a little bit compliant with certain disability standards, certain contrast colors, font size adjustments. There's a few things that you have to take into consideration. Also, when your website advertises certain things and people land on there, they have certain expectations. So you need certain let's say workflows in order for that patient to be fully securely go through your platform. So some of the HIPAA standards, sure, protected health information, yes, but it's more than that. And I think these companies generally have it figured out pretty well. So at least the companies that I've interviewed. Now, what's the price? What's the price of hiring a marketing firm to do the work for you versus you doing it yourself? Now, remember, you can never say, oh, well, it's my time, so it doesn't cost anything. Your time should always cost something when you start a business. Now, you can ignore that amount, or you can set it aside and say, okay, it's an investment into the future, but it always costs something. That's important to take into consideration. For me, $150 an hour is the minimum. Like, that's really what I'm earning these days when I do my physician consulting calls. I'm charging $125 for half hour, right? So $250 technically, but I'll say a minimum $150 because I also spend some of my time maybe doing a telemedicine shift, or when I'm here back in LA, I might go work in an urgent care. The time that I have spent creating content, guys, I mean, I can't even tell you, video content, written content, audio content, that is the time that you got to spend putting stuff out there. And it's not that it is difficult. It requires a certain rhythm and time that you spend doing it, and it can feel frustrating. But the better you get at it, the more you do it, you fall into the rhythm of it. That is the time that you spend. For me, $150 an hour is minimum. When I do urgent care here, if I do some telemedicine shifts, I'm making about $100 and $150. So that is the value of my time. A marketing agency on average will charge you anywhere between $1,500 on the very, very low end to about $2,000, which is a good price point, up to about $4,000 a month and even more, to do several things: to build your website, to create all the good pages, to make really good landing pages, to make it very clear, what it is you're offering the patient, the click call to action button, the hero page, the headline, the subheadline, the subheading. And they're going to make it flow really nicely. They're going to make sure the website page speed is really good, that it's mobile friendly. They're going to make sure that it meets all the compliances with language translation and disability individuals with disabilities. And they're going to help you. They're going to write some of the articles for you, or they're going to give you a great framework for you to write the article. They're going to give you slide decks of how to create the videos. They're going to tell you how to set up your videos. They're going to do a lot of that stuff for you. Even if you spend that money in the first 12 months, let's say you spend $2,500 a month or $2,000 a month for the first 12 months, that's a $25,000 investment. It might seem like a lot, but on average, about 40, 50,000 is a great investment for you to have your own physical practice, right? That's kind of what you need to figure out. And they're going to run marketing. They're going to run advertisement for you to find these patients who are then going to join your practice. So over the next few months, over the next few years, I'll definitely share with you guys all the different types of marketing companies that I will work with and have worked with. I've certainly worked with other marketers in the past, but I've never really worked with an actual marketing firm. For my different brands and things that I do online, I've kind of figured it out on my own. And that's important to me because I learn a lot. But for example, right now, when I'm setting up this video, this is good for what I am doing here. But if I want to do it for patients, I might need a little bit more professionalism, right? That might be necessary because that's all they have to go by. For example, right now, I have a Chrome laptop. It's set up here. I'm sitting in front of it. This is the giant window, and this is my setup in front of it, right? Just setting it up, good enough to make a video. I have a lapel mic that's wireless to my laptop, to my Chromebook laptop. But again, for patients, there might be another extra level: colors, how much you shave, what you look like, consistency, etc. So that's it. That's a little bit about marketing, hiring a marketing agency. Check me out at digitalnomadphysician.com if you're interested in enrolling in the online course to start your own virtual practice. Check out nomadphysician.com. Take care, guys.